Hello and welcome to the morning after show presented by Underdog Fantasy Sports. My name is Joshua Reimer. I am joined by none other than Jared Block, who is over on my right. Jared, it was a long night last night. We had a lot of fun in the Good Skill chat room, but we're here now and here to talk about everything that happened yesterday in the world of sports. So, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, really exciting game last night. Everything we kind of hoped for. So
Yeah.
that was really fun. And yeah, Discord was popping last night everywhere. So it was a great night. I heard that MLB went really well for most people as well. So that's also fantastic. And I didn't pay a single lick of attention outside of the conversation we had about Baltimore, like 20 minutes after the slate. So. Uh, Found out to wake up to finding out when I came at my desk this morning that I had finished like half in 10-20% of my tournaments, and then I've missed by like 3 FanDuel points on the others. So
Rough.
Sandy Alcantara does any better in the first 2 innings. We're talking wins everywhere.
Yeah, you talk about if he gets extended a little bit longer, it's a big night for you. We know that the chalk and Alex Wood ended up failing pretty big. That was because everyone used him kind of to take those Braves, and we'll talk about how that
Well, it
game went.
worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. But we'll get more in depth with that as the night goes on, or as the day goes on, as the show goes on. Before we do that, Jared, let's jump straight into things and talk about what happened last night in the NHL. A little bit of a snoozer, at least compared to the finals. Avalanche win this one handedly, 4-0. End up getting the shutout against the Oilers. Frank Kuz, I think is his name. That's the Avalanche goalie. 24
Yep.
saves, 100% or 1,000% save percentage here. Looked really good out there. And like I said, Avalanche get a big win.
Yep. Steamroll. I woke up, or I didn't wake up. I was watching the NBA game, managed to see the ticker of the NHL game. I was like, well, all right. Well, I think everybody should. If you're not already an NBA fan, you probably should tune into that game.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This was. It's going to be interesting to see how, if anything, shifts because Avalanche seem like they've had a pretty firm hold on the series so far, and we head into Edmonton now after this game. So it'll be interesting to see if the Oilers can get one back or if the Avalanche can impose their dominance like they have over the last few. Obviously, on today's slate or on today's game, we have the Lightning versus the Rangers. Rangers at home. Tampa still the favorites, minus 130. I don't know. It's a little shocking to me because Rangers were able to win game one. I don't have any rooting interest here. I really don't care that much. I do. I shouldn't say I have no rooting interest. I have a little bit of rooting interest in the Rangers purely because, and this is a stupid reason, so you're plenty welcome to laugh at me, but one of my favorite TikTok content creators is a huge Rangers fan. So I'm like, all right, I got to find some reason to like root for someone, and that's why I'm at least rooting for the Rangers a little bit here.
I'm rooting for the Rangers because I don't want to see the Lightning back in the finals for the third straight year or something. So
Yeah.
that's I think that's also I used to play this game in like middle school. I had a PlayStation. One of my friends had a PlayStation 1, and we had the NHL. I don't even know what it was then. Probably like 2000 or 2K1 or something. NHL
Yeah.
2001. And the Rangers were one of the best teams in the league. So I've always been a Rangers fan since then. Sort
There
of.
you go. Yeah, hey, I like the reasoning. That's all right. That's all right by me. I yeah, it is what it is. All right, done with the NHL recap. Let's get to some NFL news. Not much happened yesterday, but one of the biggest pieces of news sadly happened right after we got off the show. Jared,
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick retires by texting all of his former teammates. I don't know if you saw the graphic that the NFL put up, but it was just like a
Yes.
thank you post to Fitzpatrick, and Fitzpatrick's last name, each letter was a different team he played for, and I thought that was really cool. Like, what a great send off. Obviously, like we all know him for Fitzmagic and all those crazy stuff he did with all the different teams he was on, but kind of sad to see him leave. We do know, or we have heard, that broadcasting is in the future for him, so that can be nearly guaranteed or expected at this point that we're going to see him broadcasting somewhere, and I'm excited for that. I
I
think
love
that'll be
that.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Is this the new norm now when players retire? Is that Fitzpatrick is, or just any player that has some notability is going to become an announcer at some point. Like we saw, I mean, most recently the crazy one that I think I saw was the Mark Sanchez one. Like he does it with Fox now,
Yeah.
and you see those types of ones like everywhere. Like it's even going over into baseball because I don't know. I think I've told you this. Cameron Maben does
Yep.
play by play for the Yankees now with Michael Kay, and I was like, that's not right. That seems weird, but they make it work, man. He's still there and he's still doing his thing. So like, I don't know. Is this just going to be the new norm for players that after they get their bag playing the sport, they go and announce the sport as well?
Yeah, I think that it's just going to happen. They're going to try to find the guys that have the personalities, or at least they think they do. And these television crews get to sit down with some of these players and interview them before games and stuff. Anyway, on a weekly basis, so they kind of get the feel for that for sure. It's happening all over sports now, and you're gonna. It was mostly a thing that was more common in the smaller circuits, like the local stuff. Like you would always see, like for example. The Bucks have had Marcus Johnson, who is like one of the best players of their franchise, for several years doing color. We also had Steve Novak for a while. But yeah, I think that every single small market has that, and we this is probably the third wave of football stuff, right? Because I think it was like more common to see two officiates, or like two announcers that were actually like official, and then they started splitting it up, and they added guys like Troy, added guys like basically the entire like pre-game shows, the NFL on Fox One and then the CBS one. Like those guys have plenty of NFL experience. Every single one of them played except for the hosts, usually like Greg Gumbel or something. But yeah, we're seeing it everywhere. And I even found out that Justin Morneau is the Twins color guy right now. So
No.
that's
See, that's what
yep.
I'm talking
And he's
about. I feel like
yeah,
every MLB team's getting on board because they've seen the NBA be really successful with it,
yep,
with the TNT show. I feel like, I mean, that's the best sports pregame show in the world right now is the
yep, it
TNT
is.
stuff, and everyone just gets so much social media traction and everything. Everyone loves that crew. And then obviously NFL's been doing it so well with their broadcasting crew, and I feel like MLB's trying to replicate that. And I thought it was a little weird at first, but I think it is starting to work somewhat on me. When I saw Maven in there,
Yeah.
I was shocked, and I took notice. So I guess it is working somewhat. Bailey0213, first time chat. Thank you very much for hanging out with us this morning. Says maybe Fitzmagic will replace Reggie Miller. Who cares about what sport he played? He'll still be better. Oh, geez. I guess I should read stuff before I should just read it out loud. Ron Burgundy there. That's all right, though. I like the comment, though. I think that's pretty sharp right there. All right, Jared. Anything? Well, not anything else. We still have more NFL news today. Something that hit my heart personally. Frank Gore officially retires. Signed a one-day contract with the 49ers. And I don't know if you saw his comments about the 49ers. I don't want to misquote them, so I'll pull them up on Twitter. Hold on one second. He was just talking about how much he loved the 49ers and all this stuff. Hold on. Trying to find. Here it is. This organization will always be a part of me, one that I will forever associate myself with. I will always talk about 40 or San Francisco as we and us for the rest of my life, and will support the 49ers and the faithful in every possible way. And I was like, oh, that feels good, man. Like good for him. Good for him to finally retire at the age of what 302. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come into some coaching role, right? Like that feels like,
Yep.
or some front office role or something with the Niners. I don't think this is the last you'll hear of Frank Gore when it comes to the NFL.
Nope, I think that's exactly right. He also does not seem like a guy that would do commentary, so I think we can rule that out. Maybe not, I don't know, but he does seem like more of a coach than anything else. And we also know that he's going to be Hall of Fame eligible. So I think that there's a debate going on right now whether or not he's a first ballot. He's a clear first ballot.
Yes, I would agree. Clear first ballot indeed. All right, so you have this thing talking about Tua here, saying that Tua pushes back on the media in the press conference. I have no clue what you're talking about. I didn't see this Tua stuff, so break it down for me.
Yeah.
What happened here?
So basically, what happens in Miami, they are one of the only teams, and I think the Packers are among these teams that you can film some OTAs. Like all these teams have different media restrictions and stuff, but for Miami, they can't film anything they can't even watch half the stuff normally, and they cannot use anything from that visually from the practice stuff and post it on social media or use it in any news articles or anything. So Tua is just saying like Miami's in charge. Like he's not saying this, but like people know that Miami's social media team and just HR departments, all that stuff, they are responsible for creating the content to be able to be used for public use. So when they show like the viral clip that Tua threw to Tyreek and how people were like, saying that the ball was a underthrown ball, this stuff. He's just saying like, um, like people like Twitter, like he's basically just calling out like Twitter keyboard warriors is what he was saying,
Uh-huh.
and then he must have been unaware that the Miami Dolphins don't allow people to actually film their stuff because he said I just threw I think that last ball looked pretty good to Tyreek. It looked pretty good from my angle. Did you guys get to film that? And they're like, we can't. And he's like, oh, okay. So it was really awkward. But yeah, apparently you can't film anything in Miami.
Interesting. I'm kind of shocked that you can't do that, but I wonder if that's a rule all around the league for most teams or for the majority of
I
teams.
think it's like they have like okay, so almost all the teams have public practices and private practices. So you can't film anything in the private practice, but you can film stuff in the public practice. And like they'll do like an hour and a half of public practice, and then they'll do like 2 hours of private practice after that. At least that's how Green Bay's works, and you can
Okay.
film the public one because they invite people out to like training camp in the summer, and you can watch it as a fan. But in Miami, there is no public practice; it's all private.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. We'll have to keep up on the Tua stuff. I've heard takes, not to bring fantasy football into this, but I've heard takes all over the board. And I know I heard a take last night saying that Tua's going to be QB1 this year. Going to be the top guy on the board altogether. And I mean, like, I'm not going to say I fully disagree. I just think, with McDaniels there, he kind of fills in as that Jimmy Garoppolo role. And Jimmy G's never been close to a QB1. But Tua has more talent. So, maybe he's able to have a little bit more scoring upside there.
Essentially, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that Miami is going to be easily the toughest team to figure out in the offseason. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see how it goes. And I think right now I'm just going to wait and see approach, probably staying away from
Yeah.
everything.
I could see that as well. All right. Anything else with NFL news, Jared? If not, let's talk a little bit about MLB, especially because we just got some breaking news while we're
Yep,
live
spicy
on the
breaking
air.
news. Yep.
Yes, huge breaking news. The news that we just got is that Joe Girardi is now not with the Phillies. He has been fired as their manager. Trying to find more on this because I saw this. I saw the tweet. Here we go. Even here's some more from Ken Rosenthal. Phillies have also fired coaching assistant Bob Meacham, quality assurance coach Mike Calatry, who has been with the organization since 2018 and will be Rob Thompson's bench coach. Thompson will be managing in the majors for the first time. So I guess Thompson stepping in for Girardi. Interesting stuff, man. Ken Rosenthal automatically links an article from The Athletic saying firing Joe Girardi won't fix the Phillies' problems. I kind of agree with that. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
problems with the Phillies right now, mostly injuries and things that Joe
Yep.
Girardi can't necessarily control. But I'm kind of sad, man. I've loved Joe Girardi since his Yankee days. I never felt like he got too much flack compared to what he deserved. And I always feel like he should have been our manager for a little bit longer. Very much a no nonsense type of guy, but I don't know. This is interesting for the Phillies. What do you think?
There has to be more to the story internally than just this because you're looking at the numbers. Yeah, they're underperforming, but I mean they're 3-7 in their last 10. Which team doesn't go through that? I think they're expected to be in a top spot compared to the payroll that was given to them. So when their ownership group was like, okay, we're spending the fourth most money in baseball for this, our market is technically smaller than both New York's market and LA's market. Got to make some moves. Got to find a way to win. This has been the Phillies' window for a while, and especially in this East, like people just jumble everywhere, and the Mets aren't consistent. The Braves have been interesting this year. The Phillies had a day off yesterday, and it's weird that they fired. It's just a strange time to make the move because you won in a walk-off fashion on Wednesday in San Francisco. And then, or were they home? I don't remember. Anyway, they won that game. And then you have a day off. You find out that Gene Segura's out for like 2 months, 3 months. And then Bryce Harper's out of the lineup. And now you're like, oh, sorry, we're going to, it just feels like a scapegoat situation to blame somebody.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. This team is fourth worst team in the National League when it comes to their win percentage, tied with the Cubs. Um, I don't know how
That
to
is
feel
kind of
about
weird to see, though.
it. Is
It
weird,
doesn't
man.
look like
Like
it, but it is.
it doesn't feel like. I think that's the perfect way to say it. It really doesn't feel like this Phillies team has underperformed that much. Their run differential is one plus one, which means a lot of spots where you're getting unlucky, in my opinion. When you see that run differential positive and you're having a negative record, it shows me that you're bound for some good luck eventually. And I don't know. It's interesting to see them, the bottom fourth team in the MLB. I mean, the Marlins and the Cubs are tied with them when it comes to games back from first in the wild card. Um,
Uh-huh.
Reds are behind them, and then Nationals. So like it's I don't know. It's scary company to be with, especially like you said. This is one of the bigger payrolls in the MLB. So I don't know. Just a tough spot to be in for sure for this Phillies team.
Yeah, they're going to be in a tough spot for a while, too.
Yeah.
So they are going to have to be able to, they're going to have to call up some guys and make some moves in possibly at the trade deadline or before that. And good luck.
Here's what it comes down to. You're in the one of the toughest divisions in baseball, in my opinion. I think the NL East is
Yeah.
sneakily a tough division. Nationals. I know they're 18 and 35 right now, but at the end of the day, they have one of the best hitters in the world on that team. Marlins always find a way to win. They're 21 and 28 right now, but a lot of those wins have been sneaky wins. And then you have the Braves, who have been underperforming at 25 and 27, but I feel like they're still a more solid team than that record. And then the Mets are one of the best teams in the NL. I think they're the best team in the NL right now. They have the most wins currently. So,
Yep.
like I said, tough division to be in, a sneaky tough division to be in.
Yeah, it really is. I guess the only thing that I would have to add to that is we don't really know how much some of these divisions have played against each other. So I guess we'll see how it shakes out. I know that the Phillies have played the Mets a lot, so maybe that has a little bit to do with the record they have right now. I know they haven't really been great against them, so who knows? It should be a long summer for Philly. We'll see if they get it on track. And it just seems like they are always one of the two teams, them and the Mets, who are supposed to be great, and then they end up not being great. So I don't really know how it's going to go with them for them. Do they wish that they? This is kind of a weird question considering he's hurt or has been, but do they regret potentially getting Castellanos and not Chris Bryant yet?
I feel like it, at least a little bit. Like you got to consider the fact that I don't know, Castellanos isn't necessarily doing great right now. He's starting to get hot again, but hasn't had the best season. So I feel like you got to be regretting that decision at least a little bit. All right, let's talk about Coors for a little while because it was an insane game last night. 19 runs in total. Gomberg getting absolutely destroyed during his start, giving up 9 earned runs over 5 innings. A lot of Acuna, a lot of this is the top of this lineup, and not necessarily a lot of home runs outside of Travis Darno. Just a lot of hits, a lot of guys on base, and
Yep.
a lot of guys getting hit in basically almost every inning except for the first and the fourth. It was a really good game for Atlanta. Rockies tried to come back. CJ Crone had a home run. A couple of guys had some big hits. Jose Iglesias had a double that was pretty solid, but just wasn't enough to compete with 13 runs from Atlanta.
Nope, not when you score 9 runs and it's 9-1 at the end of the fifth, or 9-1 at the start of the fifth. It was an interesting game to watch for sure. Like I told you before, I can't believe that I even was still in contention on fantasy level with after fading this entire team
Yeah.
in the Braves. Now they played Colorado, who was surprisingly very very low owned yesterday. So that was interesting. It does seem like these last couple games this week in cores have seen a lot less home runs and more just crushing hits because
Yeah.
probably because of the pitchers that are pitching there right now.
Yeah, for sure. You have a pair of good pitchers today. It is, well, I say good. I guess it should be used with a little bit of a caveat. Chad Kuhl, who has been good this season, but definitely bound for some negative regression.
Ooh.
And then you also have, who's on the other side of that game? It's not, why am I forgetting the name?
Is
It's
it
the
Freed?
lefty. It's Freed. There you go. Max Freed's on the other side as well. So
That's
uh,
interesting.
Yeah, some good pitching there. That'll be fun to watch for sure. And there's a lot of good games today. It's a loaded day of baseball. So excited for that. All right, let's talk about the NBA Finals. Finally, I'm sure what everyone here is here to listen to is us talking about the NBA Finals a little bit and talking about how last night went. I think you can really classify it as how everything went through the first three quarters and how everything went in the fourth quarter. Because in the fourth quarter, Celtics outscored the Warriors 40-16. Al Horford has a truly, I hesitate a little bit to use it, but I saw it around social media, so I'll go for it. A LeBron-esque game. They showed him compare, like that picture where LeBron's bent over and like has the scowl on his face when he was with the Miami Heat, and like everyone uses it as like a determination meme now. They had a very similar picture of Al Horford doing the same exact thing,
Yeah, I
and
saw.
I think at that point Al Horford was determined to take over this game. He did exactly that. Absolutely dominated. 6 for 8 from 3-point range, which is insane. 26 points is the leading scorer for the team. Insane game for Al Horford. What a performance for this guy reaching into the fountain of youth. On the other side, Curry really dominates in the first quarter and then kind of just disappears through the rest of the game, which you can't have your star player doing that, in my opinion. So it was really a combination of things, but I think at the end of the day, Celtics shooting got really, really hot at the end of that game,
Yes, it
and
did.
that's all. That's all you need to know.
You're right in saying that the game is specified by 3 quarters and by 1 quarter.
Yeah.
Because you saw when we sweated this out, and I said this a lot, every single time the Warriors would just throw haymakers, the Celtics would find a way to just score or stay in it or figure out a way to not get blown out. Like they were down by 15 at one point, and I don't know. I thought we were there was a moment in me where I thought we were headed for a potential blowout, but they just survived that wave and they came back. They exchanged 40-point quarters with the Warriors in the second half. So that was what it came down to at the end of the day. I'm very surprised that Golden State didn't take the effective measures when needed in the fourth quarter.
I am very surprised that Looney only got 25 minutes here in this game. I think that you should have been playing Looney over a guy like Jordan Poole in closing minutes.
Yeah, he was
I
getting
mean,
cooked.
hindsight's 2020, obviously. So don't. I'm not saying like I would have done this myself necessarily, but like looking back on it now, I feel like they just lacked that physicality in the last few minutes, and that
Yeah,
physicality
they
could have
did.
made all the difference.
Yep, agreed. And they, like I said yesterday, Boston is an offense that exploits matchups, and Golden State is not like that. They were targeting Steph and Jordan Poole for the majority of that fourth quarter, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what just led to it. And it does feel like they have a size advantage in that situation. So now maybe Kerr specifically didn't want to make a move because he wanted to see how this thing plays out long term and not reveal his hand right away. But I don't necessarily agree with giving a game one at home
Yeah.
in a finals matchup. So
Yeah, not the prettiest thing, but hey, I mean we've seen this Warriors team do a lot in the finals. I don't think this is the end of it. I still think this thing goes seven, and you see the Warriors end up winning it all. But we'll have to see, man. It's going to be an incredibly close finals matchup as we saw throughout the night. What before we move on, what did you think about Tatum's performance? Because a lot of people were saying different things. Obviously you expect your star to show up a little bit more. He went 3 for 17 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3-point range. Only had 12 real life points. But does he make up for that with the assist number of having 13 assists? Like, I heard a lot of people saying, like, this is what superstars do. When you don't have one part of your game, you affect the game in another way. And I guess he did affect the game in another way. I don't know. I still expect your star to show up for more than 12 points in the first NBA Finals game.
yeah, I think I won't say nerves, but I do feel like he was just not feeling it the rest of the way that his teammates were. So, uh, or just really good defense. I think that we were nailing that take earlier yesterday, and that came to fruition. I think Tatum will have himself a game, and if he doesn't, then the series is already over if he can't.
Yeah, I completely agree with that fact. All right, Jaron, let's get on to our dog days of summer. Unless you have anything else to cover for the NBA Finals.
I do not. I don't think. No, I think
Per-
we're all good.
Perfect. Let's go to our dog days of summer and talk about Underdog Fantasy Sports, the people who sponsor this show, the people who keep the lights on over here. We greatly appreciate them, and because we greatly appreciate them, we have our little segment every day on the morning after show where we talk about their site and take a few picks that we like from their site as well. Jared, I will let you kick things off. There's a Sadly, we're not going to be able to do it, but on Sunday, you can take the over of a half of 3 pointers made for Steph Curry, and you can take the over on that,
Yep.
which is pretty nice.
Yes, you can. I think this is we're on a little bit of a streak here. We've won at least three in a row. I don't know how this fourth one went because I'm not an esports guy, but we are definitely have won 3 games. Definitely have won three underdog plays in a row
Very
in our
nice.
Discord. So make sure to head over there. Yesterday, the plays that we gave on here were actually the underdog fantasy play of the day. It was Al Horford over 28.7 fantasy points. He did that basically in real points alone. And then Kevon Looney over 24.5 fantasy points. I believe that hit as well.
Nice. Very nice. All right, Jared. Let's wait. What did you say Kevon Looney's was?
Well, it was 24.55.
Yeah, he had 29, so he was good there. I thought it was 29.55, and I was like, oh, I just missed it. That stinks. But no, he was good. And your Curry one hit in the first quarter. So we're happy campers here. Let's talk about today's slate. Only MLB, no NBA today because NBA is on Sunday. So give me your pick.
All right. I'm gonna. I don't want to be the guy that just takes cores. So, and actually, today kind of is a sucky one
Today's
for
kind of like might be a stay away from cores. I don't know. We'll see. We
potentially.
need to get the research in, and if you guys want to find out if it's a stay away from cores, might want to tune in to the DFTP show, which is live everywhere for free. That is Don't Fade This podcast. But Jared, what are we taking here? I have my pick. I feel so sure about this one. I feel so good about it.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll take. Actually, I'll let you go first. I don't want to steal your pick.
You might be stealing it, but that's okay. Garrett Cole over 8.5 strikeouts.
Oh no.
Easiest pick of the day. Tigers. The matchup's golden. I've already looked into it. I have no doubt about this Garrett Cole start.
Perfect. That's. I didn't even see that one. So, the first thing that came to my eye, Joey Votto over 6.5 fantasy points against Josiah Gray.
Yeah, I like that one. There's also Jock Peterson over six and a
Yep.
half points against Eliza Hernandez. I think that's golden.
Yep.
Wait for some more to come out for that game because I'd rather get Yastrzemski or another giant that isn't going to get pinch hit for. But as soon as a lefty gets brought in for Miami, you will see Jock get pulled out. So keep that in mind. Maybe wait a little bit longer, see if you can get Yastrzemski or I don't know. Tommy Listell is another guy that gets yanked pretty early, but I think Jock could do that in one swing, get over that 6.5 total fantasy points
Uh-huh.
because he was right there to a home run yesterday. We watched it off of Sandy Alcantara, and that ball will go a lot farther against Eliza Hernandez. So I like that Jock play quite a bit. All right, Jared, let's get out of here. Any final thoughts?
No, great day of baseball today. I
No,
actually have no but day baseball, which is nice. Just
finally.
for like one day, it's nice.
Yeah,
People forget. Josh and I have had day baseball like every single day because Monday was Memorial Day. So
yeah.
we have been grinding out this week. I'm excited to kind of dive into a regular day of research, and we'll see you guys on the MLB podcast. Also, FanDuel Week 8 of the Rumble today
Yes,
for the
sir.
free contest in our Discord. So, if you want to play some cumulative scoring daily fantasy sports, we are giving out prizes most likely for the 2022 NFL and NBA seasons if you finish in the top 10 in the standings. So uh, it's a long summer, and I am slowly climbing my way back after missing only 1 week. I left like 30 spots on the table by missing that week, and I'm kicking myself for it.
I think I did too. Like I did something very similar. Or I might have missed 2 weeks by now. I'm not really sure. I came close to taking one down last week. So I'm like you said, slowly climbing my way up to compete with the upper echelon of guys. But we'll get there sooner rather than later. Hope you guys have a good day, and we will see y'all later. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good morning and good skill.